Right, hi, my name's Chris. I'm a RIBA chartered architect.
Hi, I'm Luke and I'm a quantity surveyor.
I use the plan of work all the time. It's really useful even at the early stages of a project when you're doing a fee quote and working out what you need to consider in a project. It's something that you should always bear in mind when progressing a project through work stages and making sure everyone's happy with the design where it is and that it's okay to move forward to the next step. So I think it's a really useful, important tool, especially compared to earlier versions of the plan of work pre 2013.
So I would say I'll refer to the RIBA plan of work probably just during the design in terms of costing to determine what progress or what state of design is to be included within a cost. But apart from that, that is probably it.
Yeah, generally most projects do, especially when you have a professional who is aware of the sequence of events. For example, most projects need planning permission, they need building control approval, they need to be tendered, and that natural sequence, even if you're not following the plan of work, it is something that sort of has to be followed, and it's rare that clients sort of go off piste or get a different, do things a different way, and when they do that, you do have to rein things back and then sometimes backtrack and then make sure you have gone through the correct steps. So that's where the plan of work will make sure you are following those things in the correct order so that you don't have an uncoordinated design.
Yeah, I think most projects do run to the plan of work up until stage 5. For in terms of QSing anyway, we'd normally cost it up to stage 4 or 5, and obviously whatever progress of design you're costing determines what cost it's going to be. But in the QS world, we normally work pre-contract formation and then post-contract.
It's written for all members of the project team, really. It's obviously written by architects, but it's formatted and there really to help everyone understand the process. So I think there probably should be more awareness and of it, and possibly architects should play a role in that in terms of making sure everyone else works to it, because the RIBA plan of work itself follows other international standards for how building projects should be managed. So it's a fairly standardized thing, and it should be applicable for everyone working on a construction project.
I'd say the plan of work is probably more suited to architects, as I've just described it, after the sort of technical design. It isn't really looked at, for me at least anyway.
I wouldn't change much. It was recently revised 2020, which was a little bit superficial, where they renamed stage 3 to spatial coordination, but that is important because people often prepare a concept design stage 2 and then they think they can jump into tendering works, which is common on design and build projects. But the reality is, in a lot of modern construction techniques where you have off-site manufacturing, where you have prefabricated components, that spatial coordination, that stage 3 process of taking a design from just a concept to being properly laid out is extremely critical before you start doing technical drawings. So even though that's quite a superficial kind of change, it is quite important. I think probably one weakness of the plan of work is that it addresses procurement quite loosely. There is an overlay to the plan of work about procurement, but the RIBA job book addresses procurement quite well by having a section between stage 4 and 5 to help make the architect in particular, but the project team, aware of the procurement techniques that are available to you and the tendering process and how to manage that. And there are loads of other resources out there like the JCT who have advice on this, but the plan of work could probably do better in terms of making procurement a really solid, defined part of actually delivering a building.
I don't use it enough to suggest any changes for it, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's all I've got.